Friends, in this video we are going to discuss the applications of Gauss law. In our previous video we have discussed the Gauss law, that is electric flux through a closed surface pi is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times of the total charge enclosed by the surface. The surface may be of any shape and any size. Okay, now the surface may be of any shape and any size, and it is a hypothetical surface. You are placing a charge, and around a charge just you imagine a closed surface, a three-dimensional closed surface. So whatever the flux is present, that flux, electric flux pi is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times of q. This is what Gauss law. And what is the purpose of the Gauss law? After knowing the Gauss law, how do we use this Gauss law? So this Gauss law is used to study the electric field around a charged body. Electric field around a charged body. That applications we will see now. So before going to that applications, we have to know a small topic, that is charge distribution. What is charge distribution? See, till now we have discussed, imagine there is a charge like this, some 3q charge is there, some 2q charge is there, minus 4q charge is there. In this way we are taking the charge as the discrete values. We are taking the charge as the discrete values, but practically charge will not be like this discrete values like 3q, minus 4q, 2q. It is not possible to take like that. Why? Because when you take some surface, for example, I have taken a balloon. I have taken a balloon. This balloon is charged. This balloon is charged. What is the amount of charge present on the balloon? What is the amount of charge is present on the balloon, like positive charge or negative charge or whatever it may be? What is the amount of charge is present? If I want to know, then we will take a small portion of it and we study the charge density. Charge density. This is what the term which we have to learn now. Charge density. The charge density is studied in three ways. If you are taking any surface, then the surface charge density, the charge density of a surface is called as surface charge density. Charge density. If you are taking a long wire, if you are taking a long wire like this, you are taking a long wire, then we will speak about the linear charge density. We will speak about linear charge density. Okay, now if you are taking any liquid, then we will discuss the volume charge density. Volume charge density. So what is this surface charge density? Surface charge density is denoted by sigma, and the total amount of charge or the amount of charge present in that particular portion by particular area. Just now we said you have taken a balloon, so I want to know a small portion, this small portion. In this small portion, whatever the amount of charge is there, for that small surface element, okay, but for that particular small area element, whatever the amount of charge is there, that ratio is taken as the surface charge density. These are important to us to understand the applications of Gauss law. That's why we are discussing this one. Linear charge density. Linear charge density is denoted by lambda, right? Total charge, the portion of amount of charge present in a particular length what you have taken. So you are taking a small portion in this entire length. It's an infinite length is there. You are taking a small portion of it. So in this L length, delta L length, delta Q charge is there. So then delta Q by delta L is known as linear charge density. Similarly, volume charge density is denoted by rho delta Q by delta V, volume. So in case of the liquids, volume charge density, linear charge density and surface charge density. Charge density has some units. What are the units of charge density? If you are taking the sigma, surface charge density, charge units are coulomb by area of a surface. Area of a surface meter square, coulomb per meter square, right? Linear charge density, lambda units, delta Q, Q charge coulomb per meter, length is measured in meters, so coulomb per meter. Volume charge density, rho, its units are coulomb per volume. Volume is three sides, three dimensional, so meter into meter into meter, meter cube. Coulomb per meter cube, coulomb per meter, please you write coulomb completely, otherwise afterwards you will get confusion whether it is coulomb per meter or not. You may get any confusion again. Coulomb per meter cube, coulomb per meter square. These are what? These are the units of surface charge density, linear charge density, as well as the volume charge density. Right? Now we will go into the applications of Gauss law. Field due to infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire. This is the first application. To find the electric field due to infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire, I'll take a long wire. Imagine this is a long wire of infinite length. What is that? It is charged. It is charged now. It is charged. So I have to know the electric field around it. So for this, what I will do, I am applying the Gauss law, so that at a particular distance r, at a distance r, I am finding the electric field. So at a distance r, I have to imagine or I have to predict a surface. This is what this is the Gaussian surface which I am going to draw now. This is the Gaussian surface, right? This is the Gaussian surface. Okay, I am taking a length L. From this infinite length I am taking length L and r distance. Now imagine around a linear conductor, if you imagine a three-dimensional surface. This is a linear conductor, let us suppose. This is a linear conductor. You imagine a surface. So what is the shape of this one now? It is in cylindrical shape, right? It is in cylindrical shape. So first what we will do, we will find the electric flux. Electric flux, pi is equals to, what is the electric flux formula? E into delta S, right? E, electric field, E into delta S. What is E into delta S? Electric field E into delta S. Delta S is the surface of this Gaussian surface. Okay, now what is the surface now? Surface is its total lateral surface we will take around it. So that is 2 pi r into L. 2 pi r into L. 2 pi r is its circumference and it is what? Length L. 2 pi r into L is its surface area. So pi is equals to E into 2 pi r L. That is what? Electric flux formula. Now we will apply the Gauss law. Apply Gauss law. Apply Gauss law. What is Gauss law? The total flux is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times of the charge. 1 by epsilon naught times of the charge. Now we have to apply our previous knowledge. Just now we have seen surface charge density, linear charge density and volume charge density. Which should be used here? This is a linear conductor, no? So I have to take the linear charge density. I have to take the linear charge density. So what is the linear charge density? I am writing here linear charge density lambda is equals to delta Q by delta L, right? Delta Q by delta L, right? Now I am taking the Gauss law here, but sorry, this delta Q is Q, the total charge is Q, length is L, and this is lambda. So what can I write? Q is equals to, Q can be written as lambda into L by epsilon naught. Q can be written as lambda into L. From where we have written? From surface charge density, linear charge density. This is lambda is what? Lambda is linear charge density. Lambda is linear charge density. Lambda is what? Lambda is linear charge density. Okay. Now you suppose this one as the 1 and this one as the 2. These two are representing what? Pi, flux. So we can equate those two. I am writing here E is equals to, sorry, E into 2 pi RL is equals to lambda into L by epsilon naught. E into 2 pi RL is equals to lambda into L by epsilon naught. This L cancel. So what I will get? E is equals to lambda by 2 pi R epsilon naught. E is equals to lambda by 2 pi R epsilon naught. This is what? This is showing the electric field around infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire. Now you see in this, is there any L value in this formula? L value is not there. What does it mean? The electric field around a charged wire is independent of the length. You take the 1 meter wire or 2 meters wire or 3 meters wire or infinite. So the electric field will be remained constant. Okay, now on which it is dependent? This electric field is dependent on lambda as well as R. It is dependent on what distance from the conductor, as well as it is dependent on what? Linear charge density. If linear charge density is more, electric field is more. Are you understanding? Linear charge density, amount of charge is more, density is more. It's nothing but charge is more. So when charge is more, electric field is more. Right? E is proportional to lambda. It is independent of the length. This is the first application of our Gauss law. Now we will go to the second application. Here is the second application. Field due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. The first application we have taken a linear conductor of infinite length. Here we are taking infinite plane sheet which is uniformly charged. So what I am doing here? Here I am taking a uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. This is one infinite plane sheet. This is a plane sheet. This is a plane sheet here. This is what? This is uniformly charged. Uniformly charged plane sheet here. So I want to find the electric field around it now. Electric field due to it. Electric field due to it from here, from the surface at a distance r. From surface at a distance r. I'll take a Gaussian surface. It may be of a rectangular shape or the cylindrical shape, or that is your wish. So I am taking a rectangular shaped surface. I am taking a rectangle, as it is a textbook reference to us. I am taking the textbook reference. You need not to worry about it. Okay, now the shape is dependent on our wish. So I am rubbing this distance r. It is confusing. This line is confusing to us. So at a distance r, I imagine a Gaussian surface. It is three-dimensional, and from both sides I am taking. So this side also at the same distance, I imagine a surface. Right? At a distance r from here and a distance r from here. So at a distance r, I imagine a Gaussian surface. This is the Gaussian surface now. Okay, now. So this surface has three sides. One is this side, upside, and the lateral side. Ups and downs, lateral sides, and this side. Now which side we have to take in count? So electric field is of this side, so this side we are taking in count. These surfaces must be taken in count. Why? Because electric flux formula, do you have the idea of electric flux basic formula? E into delta S cos theta, right? E into delta S cos theta. Electric field is in this direction and the surface is in this direction. Electric field will be in this direction and surface in this direction. Then angle is what? 0 degrees. Cos 0, 0 into delta S. If you take the top surface or the bottom surface or the lateral surfaces, this side and that side, front side and back side. Okay, now so if you suppose this is along x axis, this surface is along x axis, this surface is along y axis, and these surfaces which are at the back and front, those are along z axis. So this y and z axis are at 90 degrees, right? Cos 90, 0. Cos 90, 0, the flux is 0. So on this surface, top surface, bottom surface, front surface, back surface. Okay, these four surfaces, at these four surfaces the flux is 0. So we need not to bother about those four surfaces. So we have to take only this surface. Okay, now which is one surface is here and another surface is here. Okay, now this one surface and this surface, two surfaces we are taking. Imagine the area of this surface is A, the area of this surface is A, right? Now flux we will write. Flux formula, flux pi is equals to E into delta S, right? E into, what is delta S here? Surface area. What is the surface area? A. Here another A plus A, 2A. So 2A is the surface area. So first I am finding the flux. Then what we are doing? We are applying the Gauss law, just as we have done in the previous one. Apply Gauss law. Apply Gauss law. Pi is equals to the total flux, pi total is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times of Q. 1 by epsilon naught times of Q. What is 1 by pi total? Is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times of Q. What is Q here now? What is Q here? Q is a sigma into, sorry, yeah, it is a surface charge density, no? Sigma into S. Sigma into S is the surface element. What is the surface element here? A. So sigma into A by epsilon naught. So again imagine this one as 1 and you say this one as 2. From 1 and 2 we can write E to A is equals to sigma A by epsilon naught. So A cancel, E is equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Here also the same thing as we have discussed there. Electric field is independent of the surface area. How much wide the plane sheet may be. How much wide the plane sheet may be. It is independent of the area. See, area element is not there here anywhere. It is there only sigma. What is sigma? Surface charge density. What amount of charge is there, or what is the surface charge density, on that the electric field is dependent. It is not dependent on any other factor. It also not depend on the distance r. It is not depend on r also. Right? It is depend only on what? It is depend on the surface charge density. E is equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Okay, now this is the second application. Field due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. So here one thing what we are doing every time, first we are finding the flux from the flux formula, then we are applying the Gauss law, then we are equating these two, then we are getting the electric field. These three steps you have to remind. Now we will go to the third application. The third application is field due to uniformly charged thin spherical shell. Now what we are taking? We are taking a thin spherical shell. Now it is a spherical shell. I will take a sphere. This is a sphere now. Okay, now this is a sphere of radius r. Of radius r. How is it? It is uniformly charged. Means what? There is charge on this sphere. there is charge on the sphere now, right? As you are saying it is a sphere, it is hollow from inside, so there is some space inside and space outside, so that we have two cases, inside the shell and outside the shell. We can take the two Gaussian surfaces, one surface we can take inside the shell and other one will take outside the shell. So first what we'll take, we'll take outside the shell, outside the shell, electric field outside the shell. Yes or no? These are the charges, no? The electric field may be inside, may be outside. So first we'll find what is the electric field outside the shell. Outside the shell, let us take a Gaussian surface. This is a Gaussian surface. This is a Gaussian surface. Okay, now this Gaussian surface is at a distance r from the center of this shell. Okay, now the sphere of this Gaussian surface r. Now again the same story as we have done previously. First we will find the flux. Okay, now pi is equals to E into delta S. E into delta S. What is E into delta S? What is the surface area of this sphere? What is the surface area of this sphere? 4 pi r square. Right, capital R, this sphere we are taking. So 4 pi r square. This is what? Flux. This is the first one. Second one what we will do? Second one, not second case. So next what we will do? Apply Gauss law. Apply Gauss law. Right, now we are applying the Gauss law. Pi is equals to the total flux. Pi is equals to 1 by epsilon naught times of Q. 1 by epsilon naught times of Q. What is Q now? Q is sigma into 4 pi r square, sigma into a surface area, this r is small r, 4 pi r square by epsilon naught is the second one. That is the first one, second one. Now again the same thing, E into 4 pi r square, E into, sorry, shall I rub here? I am rubbing here, I will write here. E 4 pi r square is equals to sigma 4 pi r square by epsilon naught. 4 pi cancel. So then what is E? E is sigma r square by epsilon naught r square. This is one thing. E is equals to sigma r square by epsilon naught r square. This is what? Electric field around the spherical shell. Electric field around the spherical shell. So outside the shell is this one. Okay, so this is one charge, and around the charge there is some electric field. Now here we can make one more conclusion. See, don't cancel this 4 pi. Imagine, don't cancel that 4 pi. So then I will write here again. See, it up to here, this step again I am writing here. I am not cancelling the 4 pi. Then what I will get? E is equals to sigma 4 pi r square by 4 pi r square epsilon naught. Right? What is sigma 4 pi r square? Sigma 4 pi r square is charge. So 1 by 4 pi r square. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by r square. See here, this is what electric field around a charge. Electric field due to certain charge. Formula is there from Coulomb's inverse square law. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by r square at a distance r from the charge. This is the charge. Okay, now. So from this at a r distance, what is the electric field? Electric field E is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. These are the two things. This one and this one, the both you can write. One is by cancelling the 4 pi will write E is equal to sigma r square by epsilon naught r square. So on which it is dependent? It is dependent on the radius of the spherical shell and the radius of the Gaussian surface which you have taken, and also it is depend on what? Surface charge density sigma. And here, as I said, outside the shell. Second one, inside the shell. Inside the shell. Now predict what is the electric field inside the shell. Outside the shell completed. Now what I will do, I will take a Gaussian surface inside the shell. If you are able to answer it, then it means you understood the Gauss law. What is the electric field inside the shell now? So this is a Gaussian surface. It is a closed surface. Is this enclosed by any charge? Is this enclosed by any charge? Charge is there inside of the surface? Charge is not there. When charge is not there, electric field is equals to 0. Right? Now you suppose this radius is r. This radius is r. So what is flux? Flux pi is equals to E into 4 pi r square. Right? E into 4 pi r square. Then again apply the Gauss law. Gauss law, pi is equals to q by epsilon naught. Right? Pi is equals to q by epsilon naught. Then equate these two. E into 4 pi r square is equals to q by epsilon naught. What is the charge now inside? No charge. No charge. So this is 0. When the E into 4 pi r square is 0, then what is E? What is E? E is equals to 0. So what is the electric field inside the charged sphere? Electric field inside the charged sphere is 0. What is the electric field outside the charged sphere? Electric field outside the charged sphere is sigma r square by epsilon naught r square. In numerator, r is shell's radius. Denominator, r is Gaussian surface radius, which you have taken outside the shell. Right? So these are the applications of the Gauss law. With this we are concluding our chapter electric charges and fields. If any topics are there, which if you left any if I leave any topic, then just you comment in the comment box so that I will explain those topics. Thank you very much.